A man had just lost his job, and his wife wanted a divorce. But as soon as they finalized the split, the woman began to feel remorse. In just half a year's time, the man became a billionaire. You see, Chris, a medical device salesman, invested his life savings in a batch of bone density scanners, hoping to strike it rich. However, these machines were only slightly more accurate than X-rays but twice as expensive, so no one wanted to buy them. By this time, he was 2 months behind on rent, and his wife was forced to work 5 part-time jobs to make ends meet. He felt utterly desperate. One day, he encountered a person driving a luxury car and curiously inquired about their job. Upon learning that becoming a stockbroker didn't require a specific education, he immediately decided to become one himself. To secure an interview, he waited outside the company for an entire month until he finally caught the manager's attention. He squeezed into the manager's taxi and introduced himself, but the manager ignored him, focusing instead on fiddling with a Rubik's Cube. Chris promptly offered to solve the puzzle, but the manager doubted him. As the manager neared his destination, Chris finally succeeded in solving the Rubik's Cube, much to the manager's surprise. At last, Chris was taken seriously. However, as the manager exited the cab, Chris realized he hadn't paid the fare, and he only had $5 left. As the taxi stopped, he quickly fled, hurriedly carrying his scanner into the subway. But as he rushed into the train car, the scanner got stuck in the door, causing him to lose a month's living expenses. When he returned home, an even more terrifying situation awaited him. The house was empty, his wife had left him, taking their son with her. He was heartbroken. The next day, he immediately picked up his son from school. At that moment, the landlord came to evict them, but Chris offered to paint the house for free in exchange for a 1-week extension. Fortunately, he soon received a call from the manager inviting him for an interview. Chris was thrilled. However, the day before the interview, the police suddenly arrived and arrested him due to numerous unpaid parking tickets. Chris had to write a check, but the police stated they would only release him in the morning after verifying it with the bank. Upon his release, Chris rushed straight to the interview, wearing shabby clothes and still covered in paint. The interviewers were unimpressed, but Chris earnestly explained his ordeal from the previous day. His humor and sincerity successfully earned him an internship opportunity. Surprisingly, he discovered that the 6-month internship was unpaid, and out of the 20 interns, only one would ultimately be hired. As Chris returned home with his son, he found that the landlord had already thrown out his belongings.